Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome back, folks. Abby St. John, Josh Ryan, and we are back for more Primetime Local News. Plenty on the go coming off of Thanksgiving, as we again are just a few days away, really, from when the general election comes here in Canada. Of course, we have a little bit on that later on in the show. Some kids practicing their democratic right, even though they don't have the democratic right at this point. And Beyond the Classroom is back, so I'm pretty curious to see what you have with the Holy Rosary students.
Yes, they've been learning about resiliency and, you know, being able to have the confidence to be able to ask for help when they need them with certain issues that they face, because everyone faces or has an issue with something. So this program is amazing.
Absolutely, and obviously getting to talk with adults is certainly not an easy skill for some kids growing up, so they'll get that opportunity. More on that coming up in Abby's Beyond the Classroom. First, though, let's head out to Eric Bay, who was on location earlier.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we are here at Grace United Church, and it's really more than just a church. And today we are going to be taking a look at just some of the events they have covering here, and they have a ton of stuff here coming up, all the way from those 2 to 3 years old to teenagers looking for some help with that homework, to adults who just want to maybe get a little more sense of community and learn some cooking skills along the way. So today we're going to be taking a look at all those different programs, as well as some of the other stuff you have to look forward to here this fall. But before that, we're going to head back into the studio and take a look at your local news.
If you're below 18, you typically don't get the chance to vote. But today, students at Father Gorman School did a mock vote as they got their chance to take part in the election. Our Jasmine King has the details.
240 students ranging from grade 5 to grade 7 took part in a student vote. Over the course of the past few weeks, these students have been learning about the candidates in their riding and about the party leaders. The teachers wanted to give the students a chance to contribute to the election in their own way.
Today we're participating in Student Vote, which is an opportunity for students all across Canada, obviously here in Saskatchewan as well, to vote for our federal leaders, and they've done research to kind of decide who they would vote for, and took the time to prepare, and now they're running a polling station, so today's their day.
The students not only got to vote, but one class ran the polling stations as they helped the other students vote and put their cards into the correct boxes.
We thought Mrs. Davis, who's a grade 5 classroom teacher here at Father Gorman, we both decided that students need to run it, and they need to be a part of what the process looks like. So they needed to be involved from everything from doing their own research to actually being the officials who are poll clerks and scrutineers. And so, they've had all the jobs involved in today's election.
There was multiple roles in the class for the polling stations where the students got split into group roles.
Today I was one of the listers. I got to give people their paper that had the candidates on them to vote for.
While the teachers taught the students about the parties, they also did some research on election websites.
We went on Vote Compass to see where we did fit in on Chromebooks, and we did research on Chromebooks, and we went on the Student Vote website.
The teachers wanted to involve the kids in the election by doing this vote, but they also wanted to prepare them for when they are old enough to vote one day.
Students now have a real-life experience to see everything from how we protest to how we advocate for our leaders, how we support and help to campaign. So it was really important that they had an opportunity to see what the process really looks like and actually know that their votes will go to our federal elections and be counted as something that they can compare to what the rest of the country decides.
The teachers or the students won't find out the results of the vote until after the election. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
Lakeland College is looking at less students this year compared to last. This drop isn't too significant as the decrease has only been in part-time students. Michael Crow, Vice President of Lakeland College, says that this shouldn't be seen as a drop, but instead a balancing out from last year's influx of students.
Compared to last year is how I would characterize it. We are down in part-time learners by about 54 students, but our full-time enrollment is actually up by about 31. So I would still suggest that our enrollments are really strong heading into this academic year.
The college also cut down on the number of international students allowed in, giving them time to properly organize and prepare for the next academic year.
What we've done this year is we've intentionally reduced the size of our intake of international students, hoping that that would give us a bit more time to plan for more growth in the future in a more responsible and proactive way.
Partnership with Athabasca University has allowed a total of 20 full degrees to be completed on campus. Teaching youth how to navigate through the difficult situations in a way that honors themselves and their values is what school counselors are teaching to grade 9 students at Holy Rosary High School. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we take a look at this program. After taking a workshop on helping students get better access to mental health support, 3 school counselors at Holy Rosary High School adopted the model they learned at the workshop and implemented it with the grade 9 students.
We've separated the girls and the guys, and we're running groups with them separately as we go along on a different range of topics. And so our hope is to get some kind of long-term benefit for our students.
One of the topics they were focusing on was superpowers, so students identified health issues and problems they may be facing, and then they identified the superpowers or life skills they have or want to develop to help them deal with the pressures or issues they face.
With the girls group that I helped to facilitate was issues around body image and eating disorders, that they felt that those were some health issues that they were having or feared having. And then from there, they stepped out into the larger circle and identified skills that they had or strengths that they had that helped them to be able to handle those pressures that they're experiencing.
For the counselors, they feel it's important to have authentic conversations with the students about the stresses and pressures that they are experiencing.
We need to be able to have a safe space where they're open to share and to talk about these pressures in a way that helps them to be able to identify that they're not alone and that, you know, they have positive peer support helping them through it, and trustworthy adults who believe in them, who believe in their capacity to make good choices.
A big part of this is that the boys and girls are separated from each other.
We know that there's some stereotypes and typical stigmas that boys experience that are different than girls. We get them to identify what their pressures and expectations are as a young woman and as a young man, and they're very different. Some are the same, but some are very different. So, you know, we have to kind of look at the specific issues that they're experiencing.
The hope is that these students can take what they learn to help deal with the problems that they face.
There's a lot of stress on teenagers nowadays. There's a lot of reliance on social media, and so we want them to be able to think kind of more clearly for themselves. We want them to have skills as they move forward, and to help them to develop those skills however we have to.
And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Talk with faculty and students, participate in hands-on activities, and learn how you can take the lead at Lakeland's Open House, October 25th and 26th at the Vermilion and Lloydminster campuses.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here today at the Grace United Church, and we have been taking the time today to talk a little bit about some of the different programs they do have going on here throughout the fall and winter. And now Daryl Howell joins me, and so you guys have a homework program that just started up. So can you tell us a little bit about that program?
Yes, we bus kids over from junior high schools and the high schools, and they're here for a couple of hours starting right after school. And we give them a meal, and then we have some retired teachers here in like all the various disciplines, and they help them out with their homework and do a bit of mentoring.
And now if either parents want their kids signed up or kids, you know, they're recognizing they need a little bit of extra help, how can they get involved with this program here and get that tutoring?
You could just contact our church office, and our administrator, Caroline, will put you in touch with the right people.
And now, when does this run? What day of the week and for how long here throughout the winter?
It runs Tuesdays, and it's in progress now and will continue up until close to Christmas. Then there'll be a break, and then they'll come back for a second term after Christmas.
And now you mentioned you've been doing this here for a couple of years, and then the attendance has been pretty good so far, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been very popular, and I think the kids find it very helpful. And I think we have a variety of kids. Some do very well at school, and some that need help. So it's a good mixture of kids.
All right, thank you for this, and we are going to have some more from back here. Again, continuing with the Grace United Church and all that they do have coming up here throughout the next little bit, and check out for their programs. But before we do get to that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Thank you very much, Eric. 11 degrees, the current temperature. A little more cloud cover than we were expecting this evening, and we're unfortunately going to see more cloud development over the next couple of days. However, those highs are still going to be above the seasonal average for this time of the year, so while it's not quite as ideal with that sunlight, it's still certainly warmer than we've experienced the last couple of weeks. So a nice little ray of surprise of weather heading into the rest of October, where things will cool down heading into Halloween. Again, a little bit of sunlight still for the day, and it's not as bad as it was in 1992. Minus 13 would have been a very cool afternoon indeed. Wind, of course, coming out of the southeast is making the wind chill a little bit more extreme than it would be otherwise. So again, relatively cloudless sky. There is a low pressure system that was making its way a little northwest of Edmonton. That has passed us by, fortunately. More clouds, though, again, on the horizon heading into the later portion of the week. Edmonton, 14 degrees, 13 in Athabasca, 17 in Red Deer, and Jasper cooling down to 12 out by the mountains, 10 degrees in Saskatoon. Melfort still pretty cool, as well as Prince Albert. They're both at 8 degrees. North Battleford and Meadow Lake both sitting at 10 degrees respectively. And a few other current temperatures in the region. Cold Lake sitting at 11 degrees, Meadow Lake at 10 as said before. Provost 16, plenty of sunlight there. Saskatoon again 11 degrees, and Murnum sitting at 14, mostly sunny skies. Again, all of these areas will have a little bit more cloud cover in the upcoming few days, but still having fairly warm temperatures, all things considered, when you look at those averages at the top of your screen. 14 and a low of 5 expected tomorrow as the wind shifts to the west, and it will hopefully be a little calmer than it was today. West-northwest winds on Friday with a high of 12, then 10 degrees on Saturday with a low of -2, exactly the average for this time of the year. That's your 3-day, 7-day coming up later on the show.
Welcome back. Well, Alberta is modernizing the rent and fees ranchers and cattle owners pay government for the use of public lands. The current grazing fee framework has been frozen since 1994, and the government says the full suite of proposed changes would help protect Alberta's beef industry from the perception by the United States of a subsidy. If the bill Public Lands Modernization is passed, a portion of revenues would be reinvested in rangeland sustainability initiatives. As part of the proposed bill, government is looking to remove outdated information, including references to homesteading, a practice used to help encourage settlement in remote areas of the province. And now we're going to take a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
The new Junior B hockey season has now kicked off, with the Lloydminster Bandits playing their home opener over the long weekend. Our Evan Kenny has more on the Bandits' fight for a win.
The Civic Centre was electric for the Lloydminster Bandits home opener this weekend. The Bandits took on the Vegreville Rangers Friday night, winning 9-1.
You know, everyone's emotions are running high. They want to give the home fans a little taste of what we're going to be like this year, and I think that we went out and gave them a good show of what we're going to be like this year.
The game saw the Bandits beat the Rangers on the score sheet and using fists.
Yeah, it was kind of a late hit, so I kind of thought I had to step in and kind of sparked the boys up a little bit, so I think that's what got going.
The more they want to play like that, the more I want to put it in the net and show it on the scoreboard, take that away from them.
The Rangers roster included a face familiar to the Civic Center. Tyler Musgraves, who played 2 seasons for the Bandits, is now the captain for the Rangers. He had an assist on the only Vegreville goal, which happened to be one of the nicest goals I've ever seen.
I've only seen it in videos. I saw him try it once behind, and I was like, well, there's no way he'll pull it off. And sure enough, he did. So I just had to laugh it off and give it credit.
Although Cook did let that one in, he stopped 39 shots on the game.
I got a couple lucky bounces going my way early on, and that kind of helped give the guys momentum, but it's helpful. We got a couple new guys on the back end, and they're doing a great job, so I give a lot of credit to them, and guys up front helped me out scoring some goals, so went well.
The Bandits also played Saturday night, but didn't get the same outcome, losing 7-1. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
The Lloydminster Bobcats have added a familiar face to the roster in 20-year-old left-wing Jackson Kaluski. The Border City product returns to Lloydminster after last having played in his hometown back in 2016. Since then, Kaluski has spent 3 seasons with the Moose Jaw Warriors and Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western Hockey League, scoring 19 points with the T-Birds last year. Head coach Nigel Dubé said of the new forward, his leadership ability and skill level will help our group moving forward, particularly in guiding the young guys on how to be a successful junior hockey player. The Cats hope that Kaluski will also kickstart their struggling offense, a big factor in their 8 straight losses this month. He scored his first goal with the team during this afternoon's blowout loss to Drumheller. Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here today at Grace United Church, and we've been taking a look at all that is going on here over the next little bit. And Lana Lane joins me now, and you guys have a children's fair going on this weekend. So can you tell us a little bit about what you guys have planned for that?
For sure. As the family support worker here at Grace United, we just felt it was really important that we network families and be a place where families could go. So this weekend we're hosting the 2- and 3-year-old childhood fair. So it's about families coming here, bringing your little ones and involving yourself in activities and games and things that are good for development at that age level.
And you mentioned that development at that age, there'll be places that people can learn a little bit more information on that. So what are some of the subjects that people will be covering there this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. We've actually networked with some of community agencies. So the City of Lloyd will be here, and they're going to be responsible for the gross motor station. So they'll be working with kids, developing some of the gross motor skills. Midwest Family Connections as well as Parent Link will be here, and they're going to be addressing their station as the social emotional development. So they'll be doing activities with the kids based on that. We've got story time, so it's all about literacy and the important things that need to go on with literacy. So our minister here, Reverend Kathy, will be leading that station. And music, we know kids love music, so there'll be stations with music and what's important about that development and why kids should be involved in that.
And now obviously with your job you do a lot of this work here with the youth and these programs. So what are the importance of putting on these youth programs here and making sure that this information, all these activities are out there for families?
Well, again, I think Grace United is a place for networking. So we think it's important to network with those community agencies, and we've got a lot of those on board this weekend and with a lot of the other programs that we run in the church. So I think our mission, our vision, is that this is a community place where people can come and be part of what we're doing, but also for the growth and development of families.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more from back here again at Grace United Church with all that is going on here over the next little bit, but before that, we're going to head back into the studio.
Your next 24 hours, as you can see, relatively clear to start off in the Border City area and through most of eastern Alberta, western Saskatchewan. Cloud cover does pick up in the coming days, and eventually we will have to deal with a cool down. As you can see out in BC, they're being drenched by rain at the moment, though temperatures are hanging around +12. There will be a cool down coming a little later in the week where we'll drop at least 4 or 5 degrees from the average temperature over the course of these next 3 days. You can see again a closer look at the next 24 hours in our region. region, relatively clear skies, some cloud cover coming in, especially by Edmonton, right around 8 a.m. tomorrow, and then there will be various patches of cloudy and sunny. More cloud cover expected, though, in the coming days. A few national weather spots to look at here. Edmonton sitting at 14 degrees, and as we said before, Vancouver is being rained on heavily. A little cooler up in Whitehorse and Yellowknife, 2 and 1 degrees respectively. Winnipeg at 4, 12 in Quebec City. Toronto is cooled down to 9 degrees. They enjoyed a pretty warm September. October is turning ugly for them. St. John sitting at 9 degrees, and Halifax also sitting at 8. Largely cloudy skies in those areas as well, and that shouldn't change much in the coming days. Now our region, we sit with 14 in both Vegreville and Edmonton, 11 in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, Marwayne and Vermilion sitting at 13 degrees, Lac La Biche at 12, 15 in both Wainwright and Provost. But we move on to the Sask side. It's a little bit cooler, 8 degrees in Green Lake, a little bit warmer in Meadow Lake at 10, same in St. Walburg and in Maidstone. Macklin at 16 degrees, High La Crosse nice and cool at 5, and then as we see as well, North Battleford sitting at 10 degrees there. Though they're still nice and sunny at the moment, they'll get a little bit of cloud cover overnight. 16 tomorrow as the wind shifts to the southwest, should remain relatively consistent with what it's been today thus far. Cold Lake sitting at 11 degrees, dropping to 3 overnight, back up to 12 tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud, mostly cloud expected as the wind shifts from the southeast to the west-southwest. And of course, Lloydminster, 11 degrees, a low of 5 coming overnight after we've had some sunny periods. It will be a mix of cloud and clear skies overnight, then 14 tomorrow. Again, the wind shifting to the west, and it's supposed to remain steady, but we've had some stronger gusts today, so don't be surprised if a few more strong gusts end up showing up tomorrow. 12 degrees on Friday with a low of -1, as those lows again dropping pretty quickly from Thursday to Friday. 10 and -2 on Saturday, then another drop. 6 degrees, a low of -3 on Sunday with overcast skies, chance of rain potentially. 8 and -2 on Monday, then 5 degrees on Tuesday and 5 once again on Wednesday. Very much a strange shifting of the wind, southwest to northwest, back to southwest between those 3 days, and some chances of rain again coming on Tuesday despite mostly sunny skies. That's been your 7-day forecast. Question of the day and more coming up after the break on Primetime Local News.
Once again, we are back here today at the Grace United Church, and we've been talking about everything that will be going on here over the next little bit. And now Reverend Kathy Kinsman joins me, and it's really more than just about the church here. You guys have tons of stuff happening.
Absolutely. 10 a.m. Sunday morning worship, obviously, but there is much going on. One of the programs is called Meals and More, and that right now is running on Thursday evening. There's still two weeks left in that program. People can go to the website or Facebook to be able to get information about that, or just call the church. But basically it's an opportunity for people from all different ages and stages of life here in Lloydminster to come together in the kitchen, learn how to cook some simple dishes that they'll be able to go home and make for their families, and really a community building time. As I said, people from all different walks of life coming together to have fun and learn in the kitchen and build connections between them.
And now you mentioned that obviously they're getting the cooking skills, but also that community time. So what's the importance of putting that on and getting both that community, that sense of community, and also that cooking as well?
Well, at the heart of our faith and tradition is having that meal together, sitting down to have community together. And I guess that's the biggest part of that. We're modeled that the feast time is important in our faith, and so it should be in our everyday life as well. So when these folks come together, it's a time of sharing. They can be vulnerable. They can share with each other, get to know each other. That's God in essence. So.
And now obviously you guys are going to be starting this up again come November, but if people want to get involved with that or really anything else you guys have going on here, how can they do so?
Best way is to go on the Facebook page or the website. All of the information is really well laid out. We've done a restructuring of all of that in the last few months, and there's lots of information about all the programs there. So I'd urge them to go there to look.
All right, thank you for this, and we're going to have some more from back here again at Grace United Church. But before we do get to that, we're going to head back into the studio.
question of the day coming, probably a mixed one for some people, depending on what you think of your boss. I know we happen to like our boss, Stacey Comer, here at Primetime Local News. World Boss Day, what is your favorite memory of your favorite boss, in case there are some of you out there who don't currently love your boss as much as we do ours. It's kind of an underrated factor just how important a boss is to making any workplace work, because without someone there to properly motivate people, you can have kind of a lethargic feeling at many workplaces.
Yeah, it's all about that kind of relationship that you have with your boss, because you want it to be obviously professional, but you don't want it to be that you know, very intimidating kind of feeling, and especially with our boss, that's not the case at all.
Definitely
She's
not.
definitely an authority figure, but definitely easy to talk to as well, which is important.
Yeah, personally, I can say we feel as though she's someone who we can trust as a friend in terms of talking, not just for professional advice, but also just life advice in general.
Exactly, and that's what's so nice about having a boss like that, because you have that professional state, and then if you need to, they're there to talk to.
Absolutely, and I hope many of you also have a boss like that. In case you haven't already, chime in on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll take those comments and talk about them on the show. We want to hear your thoughts and your favorite memories of your favorite boss. Now, really quickly, pet of the day, and we'll start it off with a very cute dog named Jake.
Very, very adorable. Just looks like a cute little puppy. Very cute.
Nice picture, certainly. Maisie, Randy, and Kenya are next.
Very adorable. I love Maisie and Kenya's hair on the front face. Very cute.
We're going to see a lot of hooved friends on this show. Mabel is our third contestant.
Interesting laying position, but very fluffy and very cute.
Interesting indeed. Kiddo, also a non-cat and dog, and a scaly one, in fact.
Wrapped up in a blanket, super cute.
And we'll finish up with Bandit, who's wearing the wrong jersey.
But very cute nonetheless, obviously cheering for their team. Very cute.
Remember, you need the name and the pic if you want a shot at that free gift card.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio with me tonight are two of the veteran core of the Lakeland Rustlers men's volleyball team, who have their home opener and season opener this Friday evening. Giancarlo Funes and Tyler Williamson, also known as Farmer Ty by the rest of the team.
That's it, yeah.
Thanks for being in, guys. Obviously, you've been itching to get into league games. You've had several exhibition games so far in September and October. Obviously, plenty of scrimmage and practice as well, but now you just have a couple of days, couple of hours really, until you're actually out on home court with fans, with the noise and everything, when you take on the King's University College Eagles. Starting immediately on my left, just how excited are you, and what's the feeling been like this week?
It's been, pretty exciting. Yeah. We haven't played in almost 4 months, I believe, and we are all excited because we don't have our lineup right now. It's been kind of like different than the past few years, so it's kind of like exciting to see what the rest of the season brings into our lives. We'll see what happens, yeah.
So Tyler, maybe you can expand on that a little bit, just in that you guys lost a key guy in Alexei Walliser, who was essentially your main offensive option last year. With him out of the lineup, you're still sort of figuring out exactly who your starting left sides are.
Yeah, no, this year we got a lot of young guys coming in on the left side position, and they're all willing to put in the work. So it's a bit of a hit when he left, but we got many guys fighting and working hard on the court and in the gym to fill that spot. So I think we're looking pretty good, and especially with Matt coming back and leading those guys, I don't think we should have much of a problem this year filling that spot, just with the group of guys that we got.
And of course, that's Matt Peck, one of 2 Australians on the team, of course, in his 4th season. One of the interesting things about you guys is you have 4 international players. Obviously, Giancarlo, you're one of those 4, along with your fellow countryman, Jose, Matt Peck, and then Ryan's your other left side, another Australian. Because you can only have 3 on the court at the same time, you can't have all 4 dress. So this could lead to a situation where some nights a guy might start and other guys, a guy might not actually dress for the game, just to try different lineups out.
It's different for sure, but we are trying to see this kind of like a change or a hit as a positive way. So at Jose, it's kind of an older guy. He would need the rest. And then Lane is kind of a newer guy who is the other setter. If they both split maybe one game Jose, one game Lane, we will have the opportunity to play Ryan on the left side, Matt on the left side too, and then Lane setting. And it would be a really solid team, and our passing would be like way better because Ryan and Matt are really good passers. And overall, it's just going to be something really beneficial for the team.
You guys have kind of talked about already having new guys on the left side and just new guys in general. It must be nice to not have the situation you had last semester where you essentially only had 8-9 guys you could dress and really only about 8 guys that were game ready at the time because the 2 guys who were not starters were rookies due to injuries, grades, and a few other things with guys on your team. Now you have a full lineup. You can throw a few different looks in, and even if a lot of guys don't play a lot, having them in practice and then having them just in case makes a big difference moving forward with rest, obviously.
Oh yes, I think it's kind of it's better for the team because our practices get more exciting, and it's kind of different because we don't really know everyone well right now. Since last year we knew Alexi, we knew how everyone hit the ball because we only had 3 left sides. So it was pretty easy in my part where I'm a libero, so I would know where they were going to hit. And then this year, some of the rookies are like just putting some shots that we haven't seen before. So it's good for everyone to practice different things.
And with this possibility of different lineups, it brings a whole new level of competition to practices.
Right.
Like everybody, like you don't just come into practice knowing that you got your spot. You got to fight for it now. Like our first year, we had many guys in each position. Each week you fought for your position on the court, and it just brings a whole new level of intensity to practice. And that's what we're seeing a lot more this year, which is nice because it only benefits everybody. And you don't just get to fly on by. You got to fight for it and earn it.
And that obviously should hopefully then translate into games, which again begins this weekend, starting on Friday, their home opener against the King's University College Eagles.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Hot 101.3 and Boom 95.3, and here's what's happening around the Lakeland. Well, coming up, it's happening all week. It's co-op week. A bunch of the co-ops getting together and partnering with you, and we got CEO Brian Thorne joining us with Lakeland Credit Union. Brian, what's going on this week?
All the cooperatives are getting together, and we're making an impact in our local communities. And so we've got tomorrow's Credit Union Day, International Credit Union Day. We're doing cookies, coffee, prizes, give it away all day. We've got the Lakeland Co-op is doing donuts and coffee every day, and a great big chili lunch for Friday for lunch at the cooperatives.
So why did you guys partner all together?
This is a demonstration of how committed we are to the Lakeland communities. As cooperatives, we're owned by our members, and each of us add real value, and we are absolutely committed. So all of our operating, everything we do adds value to the Lakeland communities.
And if you want to get those events, you can hit us up at facebook.com/hot1013FM. We have them all there. I want to give you a big shout out to big donation from all the cooperators to the local food banks around the Lakeland.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to partner with our cooperative partners. We delivered over $6,000 of food at cost to both the Cold Lake and Bonnyville food banks. It was a tremendous event. Smiles all day.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.
Back in studio with Giancarlo Funes and Tyler Williamson, Farmer Ty of the Lakeland Rustlers men's volleyball team. Big game coming up on Friday night against the Kings Eagles, the season and home opener. We talked in the last segment about the fact that you've had to adjust to having new guys on the team, and it gives you a lot more options. Obviously should translate to better competition coming into games, so you'll be a little more competition ready. There's also an aspect to this where you actually get to mentor guys. You were the main guys on the team last year, but you didn't necessarily have young guys to mentor. Now you actually have young guys to mentor.
Yeah, it's actually really good for the rookies because there's, I believe, 4 or 5 fourth years. And last year we didn't really have a libero for the entire year, so it was basically me. And now this year we have Theo, which is another really good libero. And I enjoy playing with him because I can mentor him, and at the same time he makes me be better at practice, and I make him try to be better than I am. So it's kind of like a healthy competition, and me helping him makes me feel better too, and I also help the people that are hitting balls because I know where the ball is going to go, and it's actually so nice because everyone can just get better by mentoring. Yeah.
And there's obviously some younger guys in the middle position as well. One that's not quite as young though is Brady, who's your big 6'7" guy. Could maybe play a little bit on the wing as well, but I know wasn't able to be around last year. Having another guy with that kind of height probably makes it better in practice. So you face a guy that will be similar to some of the middles you play in the league.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's nice to have Brady there on the other side to play against with just his height and his athleticism. It really makes it brings another level just to thinking of what he's going to do, and it makes you kind of guess here and there, and it's only going to make us better. And especially with that kind of guy, how he can hit the ball, it helps our defense, and this makes us all better, and it's nice to have him around, and excited to see where he goes with it this year, and hopefully he's a big factor on the court.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential for the big fella. But speaking specifically of playing middle, Ty, we've seen quite a transformation for yourself from where you were a first year that sort of late in the year became a full-time starter and embraced that role, and then have been sort of the M1 of the team since. What have you done this summer to sort of improve, whether it's your on-court performance or it's a leadership thing? What's been the main focus for you coming into this season to improve as a player?
My focus this year is being more vocal on the court. Like my physical ability to play has drastically gone up over the year, but something that's always kind of been a struggle for me is just being a little bit more vocal, and especially with the younger guys, you said I need to lead a bit more. So that's my biggest part I feel like I'm trying to work on this year, is just being more, in a way, more like Matt, where he's not afraid to say something or help out where he can, and that's my biggest focus this year.
And I guess the same question to you, Giancarlo. Obviously, you have a guy to mentor now, which is a new role. But is there anything else specifically in terms of what you're doing as a player that you've focused on?
Yeah, I'm trying to be more of a leader in the court and trying to be the person who brings that positive attitude to every player, even if they miss. I want to be there for them, and that's something that I haven't been as good as I am right now. Like before, I used to get scared because I don't speak English, like I'm Spanish, so I would get scared if I would say something wrong. But now I'm getting more confident, and I can actually talk to the people and just make them feel, I don't know, like they're having a good time. It's volleyball, it's fun.
I know we definitely haven't had an issue with your English speaking skills at all. I think you speak pretty fluently.
I'm trying my best, yeah.
You and Jose as well. Anything, and we've got to wrap up here, but anything really quickly about this first matchup against Kings that you guys feel will be key to winning?
I feel like if we keep playing like we're playing in practice, and with the same attitude, just being positive and knowing that we have practiced really, really hard for this game, I'm pretty sure we'll have a good outcome this weekend.
And not one person can do this alone, so we just need to play as a team and go through this together and have each other's backs, and I think we'll be all right.
And we'll see if you're all right indeed. Friday evening, starting at 8 p.m., unless the women's match finishes earlier, that'll be against the Kings Eagles to kick off the ACAC season.